Uh-oh, builder confidence has plummeted. The numbers are out, and the National Association of Home Builders, the NAHB, just dropped their latest report. Builder confidence is down to 36. If you don't know what that number means, let me just quickly explain it. Anything below 50 is negative. 36 is panic territory. But here's the reality check the headlines will not give you at all. While builders are sweating, they're quietly changing the game to move units. We're seeing incentives, price cut, and aggressive moves that we have not seen in years. Today, we're going to be breaking down what is actually happening in the San Antonio real estate market, why the South is getting hit the hardest, then the Midwest, and how you, the buyer, whether you're buying at Helotes, burning, or selling your current home, can exploit this gap. Timing beats headlines, local strategy wins all the time. Let's do the math. Let's look at the data. By the way, hit that button right there. The housing market index or the housing market index or the HMI is a pulse of the people building your future inventory. In February 2026, that pulse got weak. It dropped to 36. To put that in perspective, builders are looking at three things: current sales, future sales, foot traffic, buyer traffic. Current sales conditions flat at 41. Future sales expectations dropped 3 points to 46. But the real Debbie Downer, traffic for prospective buyers, that gauge fell to 22. Nobody's walking through the door at all, or at least not enough people to keep margins healthy. In the South, that is us. That's San Antonio. This situation is even tighter. The region score dropped to 35. We're seeing lower confidence here than in Northeast or the Midwest. Why? Because we have supply, we have dirt. And right now, builders are realizing they might have overcommitted to that dirt. Realtor.com put it perfectly. Builders are facing highly compressed markets. Think about that housing math here just for a minute. On one side, land is expensive. Materials aren't getting any cheaper. On the other hand, buyers have tapped out. Affordability is the wall we keep hitting. The builders are stuck. They cannot build cheaper, but they cannot sell higher. This is the no one wants to explain part when it comes in. When a builder sneezes, they do not just stop building immediately. They have loans to pay, they have crews to keep busy, they have to move product, unit, even if it hurts. This score of 36 is not a sad statistic for a corporation. It's a signal of the negotiating power has shifted. When confidence drops, desperation rises. And when desperation is a buyer's best friend. The incentive game, 65% are paying you to buy. So how are they moving these homes? If traffic has frozen, they're paying you to show up. According to the report, 65% of builders use sales incentives in February. That number is unchanged from January. In fact, this is the 11th consecutive month that shares have exceeded 60%. This isn't a sale. This isn't a special event. This is a structural reality for 2026 housing market. If you're walking into a model home and paying sticker price without any incentives, you're doing the math wrong. And it is not just free blinds or a refrigerator. 36% of builders are explicitly cutting price. Nationwide, the rate price on new construction is now 19.3%. That's higher than the real esale market, which sitting at 18%. Let that sink in. A brand new, never lived in home is more likely to have a price cut right now than your neighborhood that is 10 years old. Why? Because the builders have the deadlines. Your neighbors could decide not to sell. Your neighbors can put the listing or wait another year. The builder cannot wait. Every day the house sits, it burns a lot of cash. But here's the trick. You have to look at the type of incentives. The median list price for a new home in the fourth quarter of 2025 was around $451,000. That's up slightly, 0.3% year over year. Wait, didn't you say prices were just being cut? They're cutting the final price, or they're using the money to buy down your rate. We're seeing rate buy downs that save you hundreds a month. A $20,000 price cut saves you maybe $120 on your mortgage payment. A $20,000 rate buy down can save you $400 or $500 a month for your first few years. That is math. Builders know you buy the payment, not the price. So they are manipulating the payments to make the house look more affordable. Even if the sticker price is $451,000 seems high. New construction versus the resale, the San Antonio battle. This creates a massive conflict in the local market. New versus resale. Existing home sales dropped 8.4% in January. Why? Because sellers are exiting homes are getting hammered by new construction competition. If you're selling a home in San Antonio right now, you're not competing with the house next door. You're competing with a massive master plan community 5 miles up the road that is offering 4.99% interest rate, while your buyers has to get a 6.9% interest rate from the bank to buy your home. Joe Berner says sellers need to highlight local amenities. Translation: location, location, location. This is where San Antonio specific strategy comes in. New construction often push further out. We're talking way out past 1604 into the boonies. Yes, the house is shiny. Yes, the rate is lower, but look at the taxes, look at the commute, look at the infrastructure where you're gonna shop. If you're buying in Lotus or Bernie or established neighborhoods inside the loop, you're buying scarcity. Builders can create more homes, they cannot create more land closer to the city center. The price per square foot for a new home has actually flipped. It is now higher than existing homes after 2 years of being inverted. So you're paying a premium for a new home, and the builder's trying to match that premium with incentives, begging you to buy. For a seller, you cannot compete with financing. You lose that math every single time. You have to compete on lifestyle, location, and the fact that your home has a window treatment landscape and doesn't sit on a mud pit. For buyers, you have a choice. Do you want to deal on financing, new build, or do you want to deal on the assets, resale? The inflation migration and rate trap. Now let's talk about the macro picture, the backdrop of all this. Inflation fell to 2.4% in January 2026, lowest since 2021. Mortgage rates dropped slightly to 6.09%. Everyone is celebrating. Inflation is down. Rates will crash. Stop. Housing math, lower inflation should allow lower rates, yes, but we're still sitting at 6.09%. We aren't at 3%. We're not at 4%. The National Association of Home Built Economics says easing inflation should continue to allow lower interest rate. Keyword, should. But here's the trap. Buyers are sitting on the sidelines. Remember that traffic score of 22? Waiting for rates to hit 5.5 or 5%. But what happens if rates hit 5%? Builder confidence shoots up, traffic shoots up, and those incentives, that 65% of builders paying you to close on closing costs, poof, gone. You might save 1% on the rate and pay $50,000 more for the house because you lost your negotiating power. Lower rates do not equal lower prices. Usually lower rates equal higher demand, which equals to very high prices. The sweet spot is right now when the news is bad, when builders' confidence is at 36, when they are scared, you marry the house, you date the rate. You grab the assets while the builder is bleeding margins, and you refinance later if the rate drops. If you're waiting for the perfect rate or you will face the perfect competition and you will lose. So here's the bottom line. The headlines are saying this market is stalling. The data says builders are desperate. The housing math says the window of opportunity that is closing. The second generation public feels safe again. But wait for the news to tell you it's a good time to buy. By then, it's too late. If you're looking at a home in San Antonio, Lourdes, Bernie, Castroville, you need strategy that looks at incentives, the tax rates, and long-term value, not just your monthly payment on a flyer. Timing beats headlines, local strategy wins. Do not navigate this by yourself or alone. Head over to this website right here and start your search today. Let's find you the right deal before the headlines figure out what's actually happening right now. So a few months from now, you can rewatch this video right here from your brand new covered patio or your dream kitchen, coffee in hand, smiling and thinking, wow, I'm really glad I did not wait. Don't let your future self roll their eyes on the today of you today. Like, share, subscribe.